Is it just me, or is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse all over the freaking news lately? I'm loving this. This is so entertaining to me. Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. So today what I got going for you is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. I'm going to talk about this. He was on Fox Business today with Maria Bartiromo. He's had all sorts of fun stuff. And also, we've got, I'm going to be covering an announcement from MoneyGram. Today they announced a partnership with a fintech company that does money transfers. And I'm going to read a little bit from the article and tell you what the broader implications of all of this are, this development. And also, in non-XRP related news, towards the end of the video, I'm going to cover for you, there's a story from Cointelegraph. U.S. regulators are investigating cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX, and it just brought me back to Nouriel Roubini when he had his interview with, what's the CEO's name? Arthur Hayes, I think that's his name. And he was talking about how it's all just a criminal racket, and then sure enough, they're in the news, and that's covered in the article also. So I'm looking forward to sharing all of this with you. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button, give me a thumbs up. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP and Brad Garlinghouse, then subscribe. Subscribe, that's it. Into the content now. So this is a tweet from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. He stated earlier today, great being on with Maria Bartiromo, critical that your viewers understand Libra does not represent all crypto. We agree with @RealDonaldTrump, and that is President Trump's real Twitter handle, that the United States dollar isn't going away, and we want to see thoughtful regulation that allows American innovation to flourish. And so he started out because, Maria, she was asking initially, okay, so what do you consider yourself? Are you a crypto company, this or that? And then he did ultimately say that they're a blockchain company, which is different than what I had heard from him in the past. Typically, the way he'd answer it is he'd say, well, we're a payments company that happens to be utilizing a blockchain technology. And then he did distinguish, as far as the terminology goes, he recognized that they're working with digital assets as opposed to cryptocurrencies. That's just the way that he likes to phrase it. It's the same thing fundamentally for me. But Brad has made the point in the past that he doesn't think that Bitcoin or XRP specifically, he doesn't believe that it's a currency because it's not being used as money. But really the way that the broader audience is looking at it in terms of just the definition of cryptocurrency, digital asset, especially in this context, it is the same thing fundamentally. But I totally get he wants to frame it in a particular way, and I respect that. That's perfectly fine. But he brought up, this is a very fascinating point to me, and I heard somebody else from Ripple state this too. I think it might have been Ryan Zagone. It was Ryan Zagone. I remember that now. Ryan Zagone was recently interviewed, and it's just funny. I guess maybe they got their messaging on point here at this point. But Brad Garlinghouse, he was kind of decrying the fact that in terms of regulation, because first of all, he is in line with United States Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin. He's all about, hey, we don't want crypto to be used for illicit activities, nothing nefarious here, and money laundering, none of that stuff. But he was upset that as far as regulation, basically Bitcoin, he cited Bitcoin and Ethereum have essentially gotten a pass at this point. And the problem he had with it, and it's a very good point, I think, is that those coins are basically controlled in China. And he's talked about in the past, I recall, in more than one video, I've seen him talk about how the fact that in terms of mining, over 50% of the mining is controlled by Chinese entities, and how hard it would it be for the Chinese government to co-opt that? It makes you wonder. And then of course there's opportunity for 51% attacks and chain organizations, all that fun stuff. Isn't that a party? Yay, inferior Bitcoin technology. You can't do that with XRP. There is no such thing as a 51% attack, and the ledger is immutable, so you cannot rewrite it. There is no such thing as a chain reorganization on the XRP ledger. There just isn't. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off track here. But anyway, he was talking about how it's kind of a shame that as far as regulation goes, those cryptocurrencies in particular are getting a pass, despite what Steve Mnuchin has said in terms of the harshness of, hey, we need to properly regulate this because we don't want it to be used for illicit purposes. Despite that, okay, but Brad said, look, we're a United States company. We're paying hundreds of millions of tax dollars to the federal government. And the problem, again, that he's having clearly in stating that is, of course, that's good for the government. They're getting the tax dollars. but he wants more clarity. Clearly, he didn't say it like this. He didn't say, we need clarity from a legal perspective for XRP right now. But that's essentially it. And especially for them, even though they don't own the XRP ledger, they're building on top of it. And he just wants he wants clarification on that, so that frankly, as soon as there is more clarification, I think you're going to see a whole bunch more financial institutions jump on board and start using X Rapid, frankly, because they already have a ton of customers that are utilizing X Current, and you're just going to see more adoption on that front anyway. So I do think all of that's coming, but it's just going to be a matter of time, and we just kind of have to sit tight in the interim here and kind of see what happens. But everything is coming ultimately, and it has been really exciting again to me to see Brad Garlinghouse getting out there and doing more of his interviews. He was just on CNBC yesterday, and so I was like, what? He's on Fox Business now? Damn, man's got a busy schedule here. So let's go look at him looking all snazzy with his purple tie. I like it. And notice he's got his little the little Ripple fidget spinner logo here. Yeah, he's got that little what's it called? Is it called lapel pin? Yeah, right there. Looking sharp, Mr. Garlinghouse. I'm your fan. All right. But I think that was the bulk of what they talked about in this particular video clip. So yeah, it was just a matter of regulatory uncertainty. But hey, man, progress is coming. So here's a link to the actual video on Fox Business. I will be sure to link this below. So if you want to see the whole thing, you've got an opportunity to do that. It was several minutes or so, something like that. And then next piece here, check this out. I found this link from All the Way 08. At All the Way 08 tagged me and a couple other XRP YouTubers in this particular one, and it caught my attention. And so All the Way 08 tweeted out, found this interesting. MGI's up 7% right now after this, after partnering with CentB, one of the largest money transfer fintech companies in South Korea. Guess who CentB is partnered with? And it's none other than MoneyGram. Take a look at this right now. And this is an article from Yahoo Finance. This is all brand new news from today. And let me just read this briefly. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just part of it here. All right. Seoul, South Korea, July 19th, 2019. MoneyGram today signed a contract with CentB, one of the largest money transfer fintech companies in South Korea. The exciting new partnership makes CentB the first MoneyGram virtual agent in South Korea. The collaboration between CentB, which has accumulated billions of Korean won worth of transactions as of July 2019, and MoneyGram aligns with MoneyGram's goal of providing consumers with an expanded range of digital money transfer options. CentB is a financial technology startup based in South Korea, making cross-border person-to-person money transfer easier, faster, and cheaper through innovative technology. Licensed as a financial institution in South Korea, CentB strives to provide financial opportunity and equality through disrupting the inertia of traditional finance. Enhancing our product offering in South Korea is a strategic move that accelerates our digital transformation in the region, said MoneyGram head of APAC and South Asia, Yogesh Sehgal. I hope I said that right. That's a fun name. Yogesh Sehgal. All right. With an increasing number of foreign residents and growing numbers of working populations from neighboring Asian countries, working with CentB will further improve financial inclusion in South Korea, and we are proud to share a legacy of customer commitment through this collaboration. Innovation that simplifies the money transfer process is our top priority, and there is not a more perfect time than now to embark on this move with MoneyGram, added Alex Choi, CEO of CentB. We are now in an even better position to meet demand for tech-savvy solutions within the space and look forward to the change this will bring to the diverse community we serve. And so, again, as far as this company, they're one of the largest money transfer fintech companies in South Korea, and partnering up with MoneyGram. Guys, I'm not sure if you remember me talking about this in a previous video. MoneyGram, they are operating in over 200 countries through over 22,000 payment corridors, and they're starting to use XRapid, which uses XRP as a bridge currency. And when you see more and more partnerships like these with companies that are moving money around the world, there are that many more corridors. Because even though MoneyGram, yes, they have 22,000 corridors, how many of those are now XRapid enabled? Well, it depends on how many other entities are utilizing XRapid. Because if you want to move money, if you want to settle in real time utilizing XRapid, you need to have an open corridor. Unless the one exception to this, if you want to use XRP, you can do it through a multi-hop, which basically means that a transaction, there's a payment and then it's actually settled, and then after it's settled, it goes off to a different entity. So you actually can be not at all touching XRP and take advantage of that. And the reason is just essentially, just think conceptually, payment flows and they just keep moving and moving and moving after they get converted. So that's the funny thing. The money that you hold in your hand, paper money that you hold in your hand, if enough time passes, it could have been the case that it used to be XRP before it was converted years prior. It'll get to that point once this stuff's been around long enough, because money is fungible and it keeps moving. So that's the power of multi-hop ultimately. But outside of that, if you want to do an instant transaction, yes, that's why it's important to continue laying the tracks as far as, and that is what Ripple's doing. They're laying the tracks here and just enabling these new payment corridors. And they started with exotic corridors, like, actually, really, just the ones where there's more friction. I guess those are the ones they would call exotic, like from the United States to Mexico, United States to the Philippines. And so anything at this point that's good for MoneyGram is probably going to be good for Ripple. So I think, and good for XRP. So this is really exciting to highlight, and I think... all the way away. I want to make sure that thank you all the way away for sharing this with me. I like that piece of news. That was cool. All right, one more thing, and I'm going to wrap up the video here. This is from Cointelegraph. This is non-XRP news, but I wanted to cover it because it caught my attention. And it's titled, Breaking, U.S. Regulator Investigating Crypto Exchange BitMEX Report. All right, and the United States regulator the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is reportedly investigating derivatives giant BitMEX. According to Bloomberg sources citing people familiar with the matter speaking on July 19th, the CFTC suspects that BitMEX allowed U.S. residents to use its platform to trade. Under current law, the U.S. is one of the countries excluded from using BitMEX, which is registered in the, I don't know how to say this, Seychelles? Man, what? I just need simple names. Like, when there's 4 names, I'm like, I wish your name was John. If your name was John, I could say it right. Like, John's easy. I'm going to call you John. All right, anyway, I know that was a country, or a city, whatever. Anyway, I'm just going to go on. And similar crypto-based financial services, but users may have sought to circumvent the geo-block using services such as VPNs. The investigation, details of which have not yet been confirmed by either BitMEX or the CFTC, came to light on social media via Bloomberg journalist Tim Culpin. Bitcoin was under heavy pressure as the news broke Friday, dropping around $500 in minutes to target $10,000. And then here's a separate section from this titled, Rubini calls BitMEX a money laundering recting racket. And Nouriel Rubini, he is a well-known Bitcoin crypto hater. He is not a fan of any of this stuff, and he was recently in a debate with Arthur Hayes, the CEO of BitMEX. So anyway, this part reads, BitMEX remains in the spotlight this week after a showdown between CEO Arthur Hayes and serial Bitcoin naysayer Nouriel Rubini earlier in July. Following the so-called tangle in Taipei, Rubini hit out at Hayes for delaying the release of a video showing the entire debate. On Wednesday, meanwhile, Rubini heightened the stakes, publishing what he said was incriminating evidence of malpractice at BitMEX while openly insulting both Hayes and his platform. Rubini described his report as my new column where I exposed the shady recting racket that is BitMEX run by the thug Hayes. Evasion of AML, KYC, front-running, insider trading, massive scale, money laundering, gouging of clients, etc. That's too cryptic. I can't really tell what Rubini means by that, right? Okay, yeah, clearly he hates this. So that's what that is. All right. Oh, man, what do you guys think about that? So we'll see if anything even actually comes of this. Given that this is something that actually was reported thanks to a Bloomberg journalist as opposed to some no-name crypto journalist, maybe there actually is something to it. I'd be surprised if a journalist in that caliber of an entity would break something like that where it's just completely fabricated. So I suspect there actually is something going on there if I just had to guess. But who knows? Who knows? I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!